Hey guys, welcome back into the channel. Clinton Yoder here, back with another inspiration of the week. I hope y'all had an amazing 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. I missed a week doing this, or we do it bi-weekly, so I missed a time doing this due to July 4th. Man, I had an amazing time celebrating our freedom. I was with family, took a week off, and I hope that you celebrated it for the reason that it is. We have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, able to live in a country that is amazing. I know there's craziness within our country, but it still, to me, is the best country in the world to live, and I'm thankful to God that He's given us that freedom, and the people that paid the price for us to be able to do that. I just want to acknowledge them and thank them for the sacrifice that they did to get this freedom that we have. So happy Independence Day. I hope you had an amazing time with family and friends. Whatever you did, I hope y'all were safe, and pray that y'all had an amazing time. So getting back into the inspiration of the week, I'm excited today to go into the next segment of accountability. You know, imagine a ship where a crew had no clear role, the tasks were left unfinished, and mistakes were going unaddressed. What would happen to that ship? If it was out in the middle of the ocean, over time, what would happen? That ship will sink. No question about it. It will crash. It will sink eventually. No matter how well the ship was built in the beginning, it will eventually sink. The same way it is in our business. Holding people accountable. How do you hold people accountable? We talked about on one of the recent Inspiration of the Weeks about how you as a leader need to be in accountability. Now let's switch it up a little bit. How do you hold people accountable? Just like I talked about the ship, in your business, in any form of leadership that you're in, if you do not make sure that your people have clear direction, understand what their roles are, make sure that tasks are being completed, make sure mistakes are you're addressing mistakes and making sure that people learn from them and it doesn't happen again. If you're not doing that, your business will fail at some point. It may take longer in some businesses than others, but it will eventually fail. And so I want to talk a little bit on some key points of how to hold people accountable in the correct way. There's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh yes, I hold my team accountable." If you ask the team though, they'll have a different answer for you. I've been there. There was a time in my life where I thought I was holding people accountable. After doing some research into that, I realized really quick, and even from my feedback from my team, that I was not actually doing that well, and that they desired it. That's another side that I want to make sure that you understand as a leader, that people actually crave accountability. People actually want to be held accountable. Most times the reason you think they don't, and you think that it's that people think you're coming on them hard when you're holding them accountable, is because you as a leader have fear of their response. But when you do accountability well, you actually help an individual become better and help them understand that getting a job completed on a deadline or whatever the form of accountability that you're holding them in, you'll realize real quick that they desire it and they absolutely love being held accountable. So getting into one of the most key points that I've learned in accountability is setting clear expectations. You as a leader, does your team actually know what you want done? Does your team actually know how that you want it done? Does your team know when it needs to be done by? Have you sat down with them and said, "Hey, this is what I want. This is how it needs to look like, and we need it done by now, by a certain time." And another thing in that is making sure that they are able to tell it back to you. Sometimes that may seem a little elementary, but the fact is sometimes people are interpreting what you're telling them different than what you think they are. So make sure that they're able to tell it back to you so that we both know, me as the leader, the team member that you're holding accountable, that we have confidence in each other that what I said, you understood in translation, and you know exactly, and you're able to actually say it back to me. Just make sure they know what is expected of them. And another key aspect in that is the goal, the deadline, making sure that they are able to know when you expect it to be done. There's a lot of times out there you hear this. I've done this before as a leader myself, and I do not like to hear this at all. In my leadership, my leadership team, if I hear this anymore, it's probably one of the most possible things to kill accountability, and that is they should have known. No, they shouldn't have known. The fact is, if you did not communicate that to them, they don't know, and they shouldn't know. So the truth is, stop telling your team, well, you should have known. No, you didn't tell them. They don't know. They're not in your brain. They don't understand what you're trying to accomplish, the way you're seeing it. So instead of they should have, make sure that you tell them. Make sure that you set that clear expectation. The next key point I would say is probably forming an open communication, making sure that the team knows that even if it's a negative thing that they have to communicate to you, that they are able to, that they're able to come to you with things, come to you with struggles that they're facing in, their job or what they're being held accountable to, because a lot of times people fear what the leader will say if they're behind, behind schedule, if it's not getting done the way that, there's been roadblocks, there's things that are happening that were unexpected. Make sure that you have kindness within your response, and then also make sure that you're willing to step in and maybe help unclog some of them roadblocks for them so they can accomplish the goal that you had set for them, and make sure that they are able to accomplish that. I would say another thing that a lot of people miss is making sure that people have the tools and resources and support to accomplish whatever you're holding them accountable to. A lot of times we miss out on that. A lot of times we just expect, after we set expectations, we just expect people to be able to know how. Make sure that your team member has the ability to say, I'm not quite sure. I don't quite understand how to make this happen. Make sure they have the tools to do it well. And, make sure they have the training. If there's training involved, make sure they have the training to do that. Because you combine all that and then hold them accountable to that, it'll blow your mind what you're able to accomplish and what they're able to accomplish. There's nothing better to see in a team member when it finally clicks and they get it and they understand the importance of whatever that task is, and they start to routinely get it done on a routine basis, and it's just beautiful to see. So make sure that they do have the resources and support and tools to accomplish whatever you're holding them accountable to. Another aspect of it is too, there's a lot of great systems out there that help support accountability, that keep deadlines in place, and it keeps it in front of people. Make sure that whatever they're being held accountable to is continually being reminded to them, is continually being checked in on. Make sure there are systems that if you don't have quite the time to always check in on everybody, I get it. I'm busy as well, and it's tough to always do that. So make sure that you put systems in place that do that as well. But don't miss the point. Don't miss the opportunity to you yourself to go to an individual and make sure that you're checking in on them as well, because it's important. Team members want that. They want that from their leader. They want that leader to check in. How's that project going? How is that area that you're supposed to do daily or weekly going? Is there any roadblocks? Are you accomplishing it well? Is there anything I as a leader can do for you to make it better? But let's make sure that we use systems that are available to us to do that when we are busy and when we're not able to. Another thing is too that is very, very vital, and I have failed at this so many times, and that is address issues promptly. If somebody is not doing what they need to be doing, if they're not being holding up to the standard, one of the quickest ways to destroy a company's accountability system is not address issues promptly. Allow them to continue. Allow them to stack up, if you would say. If you allow issues in accountability to stack up, don't expect the accountability to go well in your company. Don't expect it to. It won't, because people get used to being overlooked. People get used to issues being overlooked. And it becomes, honestly, it's unfair to the team member if you're not addressing them issues. I get it, guys, gals. It sucks to have to go to somebody when there's issues. But you're put in leadership. You wanted it. You better step up to the plate when them times come. There's great things in leadership. There's fun times in leadership. But let me tell you something. There's actually probably more hard times and more tough conversation in leadership than there is positive. Let's just be honest with that. And if you're not willing to hold, address them issues and hold them accountable in them issues, man, you're missing a very vital point, not only for the growth of the company, but the growth of that individual. People need to be addressed when there's issues. And a lot of times you can take care of things when they're small if you do it promptly and not allow them to grow into a monster that is unfixable. So make sure that you do address issues promptly when you're holding your team accountable. And now the funnest part of accountability is this: recognize and reward success. Recognize and reward success. Guys, that is vital in accountability. Acknowledge people when they do well. Acknowledge when they accomplish something. Reward them consistently. It demonstrates what great accountability does. It's just one of them things where a lot of times us as leaders, when somebody does achieve something in accountability or that they're held accountable to, a lot of times we overlook the end result. We may give that pat on the back, but let's make sure that we recognize and reward them, because it goes a long ways for the next time that you go into holding someone accountable to something. So yeah, I think that probably one of the biggest failures in business is not holding people accountable. I think in my business, that's just from personal experience, I'm positive actually that it's probably one of the biggest downfalls in business is the ability to hold people accountable. And like we shared earlier in an earlier inspiration of the week, you have to make sure that you as a leader also are leading by example in this. Make sure that the things that you're responsible for, that you're accomplishing, that you're accountable to what you need to be as well, because leading by example is probably still one of the best ways to achieve great accountability within an organization, within any form of where there's leadership. That's probably one of the most key things there. So yeah. Now jumping into the verse of the week, Ephesians 4:32 is what I want to read today. It's a very familiar verse for a lot of people, but I think it's one that we need today in today's world a lot. It says, "Be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, let me restart that. Be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you." We need people to be kind. In your accountability, be kind. Sometimes we don't understand why somebody is facing an issue. Be kind. And also, you've got to remember that sometimes being kind is addressing an issue. So whatever you're facing today, be kind to people. Be tenderhearted. Forgive. People make mistakes. People wrong you. Forgive. Man, just continue to forgive. Get that burden off of you. We all make mistakes. I know I do. I know y'all do. And, forgive people that don't accomplish something in your business. Be kind to them. Be tenderhearted, but yet be strong. Show strength. Make sure that they know that accountability is going to be in your business regardless. And it's up to them if they want to be on the ship, if they want to be part of that ship that we talked about at the beginning or not. It's up to them, but make sure that you're doing your part as a leader. So an actionable tip, accountability is the backbone for any successful team. Without it, even the best strategies can fail. That is a very great tip I found online. Accountability is the backbone of any successful team. Without it, even the best strategies can fail. So again, that just shows that the importance of accountability. So in closing, call to action this week: take that first step in your business. Take that. It start small, but start finding the ground in holding your team accountable. Don't wait for accountability to happen on its own, because it won't. Accountability is a daily and hourly process. It has to become part of who you are as a leader. If it's not who you are, it will start to slip. Be proactive in it. Make sure that you're over communicating what you're wanting to accomplish. And again, start small. This is not something that you achieve overnight. It takes time. It takes time to hold people accountable well, and make sure that you are starting somewhere, though, because it'll change your organization. It has changed ours. It has completely changed ours. We had a conversation about it yesterday with a couple of the leaders that, over the last year, we have really, really focused on accountability within our company, and the growth we see in our team members because of that just makes us want to just double down even further in accountability. And like I said, there's a side of it, though, that you do need to be kind within it. So remember, accountability isn't just about holding others responsible. It's about creating a culture where everyone is committed to the team success. Start today, lead by example, and watch your team thrive. I love every one of y'all. I hope you have an amazing week. We're going into some uncertain times as far as elections coming up and things like that. That's okay. That's okay. You do your part. Do the best you can as a leader. You'll do great. I love each one of y'all. I cheer for y'all. I hope that each leader that listens to this can take something from this and apply it to their life and make them better in their leadership, because people in this world need great servant leaders that care about them and truly care about their development, because that's one area that we're missing in today's world. And so, again, I love y'all, and I wish y'all nothing but the best, and have an amazing and blessed rest of your week. God bless.